The Overwatch League has been struggling for a few seasons, and this week we learned that the team owners are getting a vote on whether or not it should continue. Is this the end of the Overwatch League? Let's have a look. Hey guys, I'm Dames from the Omnic Post. Over the last decade, esports has grown into a billion-dollar industry. Anyone involved is convinced professional gaming is here to stay and it is the future of gaming, according to them. And Blizzard has always had a huge stake in the growth of that industry. In South Korea, they were already making money playing StarCraft back in 2003. Much to the unbelief of my grandmother back in the day. But she also didn't believe that I was going to be able to grow a beard. And look at me now, Grandma. South Korea is also where it started for Overwatch. The competitive scene in South Korea was booming from day one. It all started with some local tournaments, like Apex, which was organized by OGN, which is a television station. Apex ended up being replaced by Contenders. I'm doing the air quotes because it was a bit of a messy story, but that's something for a different video. In the end, Blizzard just took control and they also introduced the Overwatch League, a revolutionary concept where they set up franchises that were tied into cities all over the world. Wow. It was based on what traditional sports like basketball and baseball do. Up till that point, esports had been more of a bottom-up story, where teams surfaced from within the community. At which point they started organizing, and those actually competed under their own colors, not these franchises. The first season of the Overwatch League was kicked off on January 10th of 2018. And now fast forward to this week, and the Overwatch is on the brink of destruction, of implosion, of something big. First off, there was the quarterly financial report by Activision Blizzard for the stakeholders, in which they mentioned that the team owners would get to vote at the end of the season on an updated operation agreement. If the teams end up rejecting that new agreement, they all get $6 million payout. And that is going to be the end of the Overwatch League as we know it. Now, one question I got is, why are they paying those teams? Well, it has been a rough ride. Both with the pandemic that happened and some really weird management choices that were made over the last few years. One of them is moving the whole circus to YouTube from Twitch. There was a lot that happened and the teams were already jointly negotiating some new financial terms because the operational cost is huge, but the income is... yeah, they just overpromised. So that $6 million is a bit of a buyout. Don't sue us buyout. But that makes up a grand total of $114 million that is going to be paid to the teams. That is a huge bill. And on top of that, they fired over 50 people within the Overwatch League. Our society definitely has its shit together. $150 million are going to other corporations and 50 people are without a job. But anyways, these layoffs are a very clear sign of what is to come. They must know the teams are not going to vote for the new agreement and that they're all going to take the payout. They must know that this is the final season of the Overwatch League. But how did it come this far? Well, like I said, there was COVID and a few really bad decisions. But to be honest, those happen in any league. Both COVID and the bad decisions. And a lot of those leagues are still around. Not all of them though. Yeah, sure, they were a little ambitious with what they wanted to achieve, but this is the result of a bigger problem. The whole esports industry is currently struggling. This industry has grown really fast and it is still maturing. If you look at it, traditional sports have been doing this for decades, some of them almost 100 years. That whole maturing process does take time. And on top of that, you need to reach a certain level in that maturity to gain trust. Trust of both advertisers and investors. While traditional investors, up till now, esports have been funded by other maturing industries, volatile industries like crypto. And the advertisers that signed on to advertise on this new media where kids are playing games for money, those were experimenting. Same thing with the broadcasters. Look at South Korea. They have been ahead of us for at least a decade. And they are currently still doing okay. But that is because they got that extra time to mature the whole industry. The rest of the world, well, we see a ton of small teams drowning. And the bigger teams, they're all cutting costs. Because they want to survive what is being dubbed as this esports winter. I'm telling you, this name was not invented by anybody that is in the industry. Esports winter. What is this? Game of Poems? Yeah, that was such a bad joke. The reality is that the world is in a weird spot. We just had a pandemic, there is a war going on. Everybody is tightening their belt. Everybody is afraid of what is going to come next. So advertisers are making safe choices. Same goes for those traditional investors, and those maturing investors, those volatile ones, well, they are suffering with us. All of these small maturing industries are taking huge hits right now. But look, esports is most likely going to survive. But a lot of the entities, the organizations, the teams, and even the games will need to adjust if they want to survive this winter. And that is going to be a huge challenge for Overwatch esports. And that is besides all the problems that Overwatch as a development team is facing right now. Even if they had built the perfect game in Overwatch 2 and the whole community was super excited, they would still have to face those problems. Overwatch is a really difficult title to market as an esport. Let me explain. I do not play CSGO at all, and I happen to catch a match. I would understand about 70% of everything that is happening. Enough to get me excited, because it is rather simple. If you do not play Overwatch and you watch one of those matches, you're going to be confused as f***. There's so much happening on that screen that you need to play the game yourself to understand what is happening. Why is that monkey jumping back and forth? Where did that fox go suddenly? Is that man wall riding right there in the back? What the hell? On the other hand, if you are an Overwatch player, it can be more enjoyable to watch Overwatch esports than anything else. It has certain attributes that make it more interesting for us players to watch competitively. Like the different heroes, for instance. There's a lot of variety, there's a certain complexity that we understand. Seeing someone pop off really hard in an impressive way on your main, it just makes you that little bit more extra proud to be supporting your team. So in other words, I do think that Overwatch esports has a future. Maybe not as big as some people would want it to be and not as big as other esports. But to be honest, definitely a better one than we had with the Overwatch League. As some of you know, I was part of Team Belgium for the Overwatch World Cup. Well, technically I still am, but we didn't qualify for the next round. And no, I was not part of the team as a player. I mean, my platinum playstyle does not fit a team like that. Good God, not even a little bit. I was the social lead and I noticed firsthand how enthusiastic, how hyped up everybody was about the World Cup. It was crazy, heartwarming, amazing. It reminded me of the old days. And I genuinely can't wait to see it all unfold at the finals in November. Hopefully I'll be there in person. We'll see. That depends on the Blizzard PR people. Hey guys, send me an email. Come on. I was there for the previous two finals and I'll never forget that experience, especially the last one. Good God, that was a party. The thing is that the Overwatch League didn't manage to capture that same enthusiasm. And sure, national pride factors into all of this, but there's more. I kinda liked the idea of localized franchises in theory, but that only works if you have enough teams and they're spread all over the world, instead of just 2 countries. And you need to stick to those identities for long enough. You need to make those franchises work. And then again, there's the whole YouTube Twitch thing. There was also the way the talent was treated, and there was the director leaving. I mean, there's a slew of reasons. And they all chipped away at the potential success of the Overwatch League. I personally think that Overwatch esports needs to go back to the roots. Back to that bottom-up story. And Blizzard needs to be there to help and facilitate. Use your resources to help, not to dictate how everything needs to happen. But hey, I'm not the expert. I am, however, very curious on how this all is going to pan out. Is it going to pass the vote? Or are we going to see a phoenix rise from the ashes of the Overwatch League? Which would be poetic, seeing the history of Overwatch itself. And in the worst case, it just all fades out. Sad moment. But what do you think? What do they need to do to help Overwatch esports survive? Or should they just give up completely? Let me know in the comments. Join me during my streams on twitch.tv/DamesTV and make sure to subscribe for more updates on Overwatch.